All right, I'd like to call the January 6, 2026 County Board meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to start this meeting by asking for nominations of the County Board Chair for 2026. Are there any nominations?
Mr. Chair, I nominate Tom Workman to be our board chair next year.
I would second.
Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Hearing none, there's a motion by Commissioner Uderman and a second by Commissioner Lynch to nominate Commissioner Workman as the 2026 chair. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
As opposed, nay. Motion passes. And Mr. Chair, if you want to nominate the vice chair, then we will maybe take a break and get your signs posted here.
Okay, I would move the nomination for vice chair, Commissioner Lynch.
I second.
Are you still in charge?
No, you are.
Give him his gavel.
I get 10 seconds, thank you.
He needs his gavel.
And a great 10 seconds you got.
Our first pregnant pause. Okay, so Commissioner Lynch has been nominated for vice chair. Do I hear any other nominations? Twice, any other nominations? Thrice, any other nominations? Hearing none, we will close the nominations for vice chair, and now we need a motion on that? Need a vote?
A vote.
Just a vote? Okay, so all those in favor of Commissioner Lynch as vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Public comments.
Mr. Chair, before we start, we could put up your signs here.
Oh, you had taken them down.
Yeah.
Shall we take a 2-minute?
Yeah, 2-minute recess.
We're going to take a 2-minute recess.
And again, I'm not.
We're good.
All right. Are we back at it? All right, we're back at it. There's a reason why this is the organizational meeting. We're trying to get organized anew here. So, but anyway, so for the public comments, this is you can make public comments, or we encourage you to make public comments that relate to an item not on the agenda today. So, and please limit your public comments to 5 minutes or less, please. And we're going to start with Hillary. Is it Pat's?
Chair Workman and Commissioners, my name is Hillary Patz and I have been a Carver County resident for 22 years. I am here today to urge you not to enter into a contract with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or at a minimum to pause the decision until its full financial, legal, and community impacts can be independently evaluated. The current federal administration repeatedly claims that ICE is focused on deporting the worst of the worst, people who have committed serious, violent crimes. The data does not support that claim. According to 2025 data compiled by the Cato Institute and Syracuse University's TRACK project, approximately 73% of people detained by ICE have no criminal record at all, and only 5 to 8% have violent criminal convictions. That means nearly 3/4 of detainees are ordinary people, parents, workers, neighbors, living their lives, and contributing to their communities. ICE's own 2025 fiscal reporting shows that the average in-custody length of stay ranges from 55 to 63 days. That is nearly 2 months of detention. 2 months during which taxpayers pay for housing, food, security, and medical care for individuals who in most cases pose no public threat. It's prolonged detention, often while individuals wait for hearings, frequently without meaningful access to counsel, and with well-documented due process concerns. From a purely fiscal standpoint, this makes little sense. Immigrants in Minnesota are net contributors, not drains. According to the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, immigrant communities contributed $222 million in state and local taxes in Minnesota in 2022 alone. These residents pay sales tax, property tax, directly or indirectly through rent, and income taxes. Yet many are explicitly excluded from the very benefits their taxes support, including SNAP, Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. So we are faced with a stark contradiction. People who already contribute to our tax base are being removed from the workforce and placed into detention at public expense, instead of being allowed to continue working, paying taxes, and supporting their families. That is not fiscal responsibility. That is waste. The economic impact does not stop there. Immigrants own local businesses, staff construction sites, work in food processing, child care, elder care, hospitality, and agriculture. When workers are detained or when entire communities are driven underground by fear, businesses close, projects stall, and labor shortages worsen. The ripple effects damage our local economy, not just immigrant families. Some may argue that ICE will conduct raids and detentions regardless, so Carver County might as well benefit financially. I strongly reject that logic. Carver County should not be complicit in practices that are unjust, unaccountable, and often legally questionable. As a county, you have made explicit commitments to transparency and public trust. Carver County Sheriff's deputies identify themselves during public interactions. This board approved body-worn cameras in 2021 to ensure accountability and professionalism. ICE does not operate under comparable standards. Its agents frequently refuse to identify themselves, lack consistent body camera policies, and operate with minimal local oversight. Contracting with ICE would directly undermine the values this county has embraced. You may not be able to stop ICE nationwide, but you can decide whether Carver County participates. I ask you to live up to your strategic initiatives of taxpayer value and customer service. Do not commit county resources, facilities, or credibility to a program that drains public funds, erodes trust, and harms our local economy. Please reject this contract, or at the very least, table it until an independent auditor can assess the true long-term financial, legal, and reputational risks to Carver County. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Brian Ling. Brian in the room? No Brian? Okay. Sally Brown.
Chair Workman, Commissioners, good morning. I am Sally Brown. I'm a resident of Chanhassen. And I recognize this is your meeting, and so I really do appreciate that you give an opportunity for the citizens to address you. I think that is important, and I appreciate it. I am here to formally present a copy of a petition signed by more than 500 residents of Carver County. And the petition reads, to Sheriff Camerud, we, the citizens of Carver County, do not want our county jail to be used by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, to detain anyone, nor do we want any ICE facilities in Carver County. So this petition, bearing the original signatures, was presented directly to Sheriff Camerud during a face-to-face meeting with community members on December 22nd. These signatures were gathered in a relatively short period of time through in-person conversations with neighbors, friends, and fellow residents across the county. Based on this experience, we are confident that given more time, many more citizens would add their names and voices to this request. We recognize that this board must weigh many perspectives, responsibilities, and data points as you consider issues that affect Carver County as a whole. With that understanding, the community members and organizations taking a stand against county involvement with ICE have engaged in extensive study of the legal, fiscal, public safety, and human impacts involved. We've also gathered personal impact statements, many of which you have already heard, including from individuals who have spoken in this very boardroom, and perhaps more that you will hear yet today. We offer this petition not only as a collection of signatures, but as a reflection of deep community engagement and thoughtful concern. And we ask that it be given serious consideration as you continue your deliberations. We thank you for your attention and your service to Carver County.
Thank you very much. I got Ellie next. Ellie K.
Chairman Workman, Commissioners, my name is Ellie Krug. I'm a resident of Victoria. Some of you may know I'm also an elected official, but I am here speaking personally and not on behalf of the Carver County School District, Eastern Carver County School District. I want to talk with you about three things this morning: vision, compassion, and risk, all related to the potential, possible contract with ICE. Vision first. Every once in a while, we come to a reflection point, a place where, however we decide, reflects on and decides how we will be viewed by the world at large. I would submit that this contract, this decision on whether to contract with ICE to house detainees is one of those reflection points. It is not a question about bringing in revenue, because obviously that's something that's involved, but it's really more of a question about how do you want Carver County to be perceived? Because you go with this contract, we will be the closest county to downtown Minneapolis, downtown St. Paul. And what that means is that we will have ICE representatives, I'd actually like to use a stronger word, out here more frequently, because they can come out here to Carver County, they can place somebody in the jail and stay out at Carver County for a longer period of time. But what will that make other people think about Carver County? Because it will not make us look like a welcoming place. In fact, it will make us look like an intolerant place, a place that is unwilling to allow those who lack voices, those who lack power, unwilling to protect them, and instead to allow people who run amok with the law to take them away. Second item, compassion. Gandhi said that the measure of society is how it treats its weakest members. We are talking about people here who have no power. Sheriff Cameroon has said that potentially going into this contract was about compassion because people would be housed locally. The reality is that ICE could arrest, no, that's not the right word, detain somebody at 3 o'clock Wednesday, have them at the jail by 3:30, and then on Thursday morning, come and take them away to God knows where, Louisiana, Texas, or whatever. There's no compassion involved with that. The third item is risk. I was a 30-year civil trial attorney with more than 100 trials to my credit. Many of those tried to jury verdict. In the course of my legal experience, I represented, actually, legal entities like Carver County. I actually protected legal entities like yours from Section 1983 police brutality, police excessive force cases. I counseled many, many clients, institutional clients, about risk. And that's really what this is about. Because the thing to understand is that while you control the Carver County Sheriff's Department, and in conjunction with Sheriff Cameroon, you do not control ICE. And you will have ICE out in this county roaming around. That is the right phrase for it. And the risk that we have, as I used to tell my clients, it's not what you think, it's not what I think as your lawyer, it's not what the plaintiff thinks, it's not what the plaintiff's lawyer thinks. It's what a jury will think. And can you imagine a video on the internet of ICE pulling somebody, a 45-year-old woman, out of her car, pummeling her to the ground on Chaska Boulevard as she has 2 children in the car? And can you imagine what that will say about our county? But more importantly, can you imagine the risk it will take? Because not only will ICE get sued, the county will get sued. And you don't control ICE, unlike the sheriffs. ICE operates as thugs. So I would urge you not to go forward with that contract. Thank you so very much.
Monique, are you ready, Monique?
Board Chair, Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to share public comments at this meeting. I always appreciate it. My name is Monique LaCroix. I live in Chaska, District 4. Commissioner Lynch, thank you for our meeting over the phone. I appreciate that. Today, I'm not going to use my voice. I'm going to use my voice to share a story of the voice of someone who is too afraid to be here in a public space. These are her words. Our story. We came to this country for the same reason others did: safety, opportunity, and hope. We work hard and follow the rules, but today, being noticed feels dangerous. When we hear sirens, our hearts race. When someone knocks unexpectedly, time seems to stop. What hurts the most is knowing we are more than a label. We are not just an immigrant or illegal. We are students, workers, parents, friends, and people contributing to our communities, even when the system feels against us. We dream of a future where we don't have to fear being separated from the people we love. I came to this country young, under 18, undocumented, but determined to build a life through hard work. I followed the rules and laws as best I could. I should say undocumented then. I followed the rules and laws as best I could and paid taxes year after year, knowing we would never receive the same benefits as others. I built a small business from nothing, pouring our time, money, and hope into it. But now, because of what is happening today, fear has changed everything. Our sales have dropped by nearly 80%. We are afraid to go out, not because we've done anything wrong, but because of how we look and how easily we could be judged or targeted. Families are torn apart. Kids come home to empty houses. Lives are changed in an instant. We've seen neighbors protest through the cold Minnesota winter, standing together to protect each other. Even high school students have walked out of class to support immigrant families. We have heard stories of people carrying passports every day, even U.S. citizens, out of fear of being wrongly stopped or detained. Still, we keep going. We keep believing. We keep hoping. We still believe in this country, even when it doesn't believe in us. We believe that one day compassion will be louder than hate, and understanding will replace fear. We believe this country will see us not as a threat, but as we truly are, people who belong. In my words, please do not allow this contract to go through.
Rebecca Rowe. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Becky Verone, and I have lived in Carver County for almost 50 years. I'm currently a resident of Chanhassen. Thank you for the opportunity to make a brief comment. Chair Workman, Commissioners, I ask you, keep Carver County decisions in Carver County. Don't hand the keys of the local jail to federal bureaucrats. Bringing ICE into our local jail is an invitation for federal oversight, federal mandates, and federal lawyers to dictate how we run our county facilities. Managing a federal detention program is a massive administrative distraction that pulls resources away from the essential infrastructure our residents rely on. Keep the focus on roads, drainage, and local safety. More importantly, let's keep honoring the civil rights of all of our residents. We want all community members to feel safe. The sheriff has agreed that ICE will operate regardless of our help. That may be true, but according to the Carver County Jail, but by approving the Carver County Jail as an operational base for ICE, you are effectively turning our local deputies into federal agents in the eyes of the community. This destroys the social infrastructure you are trying to build. You cannot ask residents to trust the sheriff for local help on Monday if they fear that he is deporting their family on Tuesday. Do not sacrifice long-term trust for a short-term federal contract. I urge you to oppose this measure and keep our sheriff's office focused on Carver County. I am here for all of the immigrants who are afraid to leave their homes, to work, to buy groceries, to send their children to school, to worship. They are afraid to do any of these things because of the color of their skin or their accent. I am a member of Crown of Glory Lutheran Church in Chaska. We have 2 Hispanic congregations who worship in our building. One of those congregations did not set foot in the building the whole month of December, which is a holy time for them to worship. Why? Because they've seen other community members disappear and be taken. They're afraid. They're afraid to come and worship. Commissioners, I want to ask you, what brought you here? What brings you here to Carver County? How is it that you live here in this county? I can tell you how I came. My ancestors came down the Minnesota River on a steamboat, and the steamboat stopped, and they got off. They were in the town of Carver. My mother's relatives, the Zelgerts, settled on a farm between Chaska and Chanhassen. My father's relatives, the Levines, settled on a farm between Chaska and Carver. You can check it out. My great-great-grandfather, Gottlieb Zelgert, is buried at Mount Pleasant Cemetery. You'll find Henry Zelgert on the monument out in front of this building, the military monument. Now, when they came to this country, did they speak English? No, they spoke German. Were they citizens of this country? No. They had to be here for several years before they could apply for citizenship. So in the 1890s, if ICE were present in Carver County, would they have taken them away and thrown them in the county jail? Yes, they would have. I'm asking you, how did you get here? How did your ancestors get here in this county? And I have one more question for you. When did we learn to hate immigrants? When did we learn so much hate toward immigrants? I stand here to raise my voice for all immigrants. I stand here to raise my voice for liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Margaret Caldwell.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm very nervous.
hardly ever speak in front of this group of people. Usually I speak in front of children. Chair Workman and Commissioners, my name is Margaret Coldwell, and I have been a resident of Carver County for 30 years. I am a licensed teacher in early childhood family education. I teach preschool and parent education. I've spent a great deal of my career working in the school readiness program, which is the first introduction for new families in our community coming into our schools. That program is based on trust and relationships. It is often the first opportunity parents get to see what our schools are really like. This is what I'm hearing from the parents I've worked with. I did not take my child to their speech appointment or their doctor appointment, even though they're sick. I've not been buying groceries or diapers. I have to depend on my oldest child to do that. Thank goodness for the neighbors who have stepped up to help us. My children are afraid to go to school and school events. I believe schools are one of the backbones of our community. Schools provide a rich environment for children and families to learn and thrive, and they build a better community for all of us to live in. I'm asking you to oppose the ICE contract in our community jail. In my professional opinion, having ICE here is not good for our students or our schools. It does not communicate trust, and it does not build relationships with our community people. The increased presence of ICE agents in our community creates fear. There have been so many documented examples of brutality by ICE agents. This is having a profound effect on our immigrant community, many of which who have legal status, they pay their taxes, and they're building a better community for all of us to live in. When fear and stress occur, learning stops. We know this. In my experience, when a student is frequently absent from school, they fall behind. Their parents stop engaging with the teachers. They stop utilizing all the critical resources we have to help students be successful. And the mental health of everybody, including our staff, deteriorates. The teacher is under a tremendous amount of pressure to pull that student back into the fold and get them up to speed. The natural cycle of engaging, reflecting, and applying what they have learned is broken, and it's interrupted, and it can't be restarted easily. The state and federal dollars that follow that child through school are lost, and that's less resources for us. Having a detention center run by ICE will not be good for kids and families, and will reflect poorly on who we are as a community. I ask you to oppose this contract with the county jail, and I thank you for your time and listening.
Thank you. This name was written quickly. Is it Ken? Reba? Related to Todd? You're not
Chair,
related? Are you related to Todd Reba?
No.
You don't want to admit it?
Well, I don't know of any other.
That was a test. He's a good. Todd Reba, you're a good guy wherever you are out there. Good Chaska boy.
As far as I know, there are no other Rebes in.
Oh, it's Rebe. Okay.
It's a Norwegian name.
I thought it was Reba. Okay.
Yeah. Well, in the old country, it was Rebe. Yeah.
Even better.
Anyways, Chair Workman and Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Ken Rebe, and I'm a retired Presbyterian pastor, and have lived in Chanhassen for the last 5 years. I am reading a letter from someone who was afraid to come today. I am a single father, and like many parents in our community, I rely on flexible work to support my family. Delivery platforms have given me the ability to earn additional income during hours when my children are at practice or involved in other activities. For over a year, this work has helped me keep food on the table and meet my family's basic needs. In the past few weeks, however, that stability has been shaken. Increased ICE activity in the area and reports of racial profiling have made it unsafe for me to do my job. I now avoid certain neighborhoods, reduce my service area, and constantly watch for unmarked vehicles. There have been days when I have had to cancel delivery orders mid-route because ICE agents were present nearby. When that happens, I lose income from that shift, but I cannot risk being detained and unable to return home to my children. This fear is not hypothetical. It reflects my daily decisions, my ability to work, my ability to provide for my family. The possibility of being taken away for an unknown amount of time is something that no parent should have to weigh against earning a paycheck. If Carver County were to enter into an ICE contract, the situation would become even more difficult. My job requires me to drive throughout the county, delivering groceries, meals, and sometimes even medication to people who cannot leave their homes. Many of the individuals who rely on these services are elderly, disabled, or living on fixed incomes. If drivers like me feel unsafe operating in the county, fewer of us will be available. And when there are fewer drivers, the cost of deliveries goes up. That means the most vulnerable members of our community will pay the price, literally. This is not just about me. It's about the ripple effect on families, on workers, and residents who depend on affordable delivery services for their basic needs. When people are afraid to move freely in their own community, the entire system becomes strained. I ask you to consider the broader consequences of an ICE contract would have on the health, safety, and economic well-being of our county. Policies that create fear do not just affect individuals being targeted. They affect every person who relies on the services that we provide. Thank you for your time and for considering the impact this decision will have on families like mine and on the vulnerable community members who depend on us. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Leslie Erickson. Leslie? And Leslie is the last person on the list. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Workman, Commissioners. My name is Leslie Erickson. I live in Chanhassen. I'm reading this statement for someone who is too afraid to appear in a public space. I own a local landscaping and snow removal company that services county roads and commercial properties. I'm represented here because recent ICE enforcement activity in the Chanhassen area and the increased presence of ICE agents has created a serious disruption in our ability to provide essential safety services. Over the past month, many of our employees, most of whom are Hispanic, have stopped coming to work. This is not about immigration status. These are individuals who fear being targeted because of their appearance. Some have experienced or witnessed racial profiling, harassment, or aggressive encounters. Understandably, they no longer feel safe leaving their homes, even to perform critical work. Our crews are the people who clear snow, salt roads, and keep sidewalks and commercial properties safe during winter storms. When they cannot report to work, we cannot meet our contractual obligations. That means slower snow removal, delaying salting, and increased risk for drivers, pedestrians, and businesses across the county. We have tried to hire additional workers, but very few people are willing to take on overnight, physically demanding work in freezing conditions. Migrant workers have long filled these essential roles. Their absence has created a labor shortage that is already driving up operational costs, not just for my business, but for others like mine throughout the region. Migrant workers are a vital part of our local workforce. They contribute to the functioning of our county every single day, often without recognition. When they are afraid to move freely in their own community, the consequences extend far beyond individual families. And this is not just a business issue, it is a community issue. When workers feel unsafe, essential services break down. When these services break down, the entire county feels the impact, economically and in terms of public safety. I respectfully ask the board to consider the magnitude of effects that having an ICE contract will create on our workforce, our businesses, and our ability to maintain safe winter conditions. Ensuring that all residents feel safe is not only a matter of dignity, it is essential to keeping our county running. Thank you for your time and for your commitment to the well-being of our community. And on a personal note, I would also ask that you not enter into a contract with ICE. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else not on the list? Seeing none, we will move on with the rest of our agenda. Community announcements. Commissioner Anderson.
I have no announcement other than I enjoyed a couple weeks with my kids, and that's all I got.
Commissioner Ruderman.
Mr. Chair, if there's people going to clear the room, maybe we should take a minute to pause. If there's people going to stay, we'll continue.
Thank you.
Got it.
Okay, Commissioner Lynch, you want to?
Sure. Unbelievably slippery. Anyway, I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas holiday season, and I hope everyone has a very wonderful new year. So, and wish everyone health and happiness. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Fahey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Had an opportunity to do a lot of giving and a lot to be thankful for over the holidays. I had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with my family. So just Happy New Year to all the staff at Carver County. Last night, I had the opportunity to attend the City of Carver, their council meeting, and we discussed the county's and the city's legislative priorities. It was very informative, and these priorities can be viewed on the respective websites for both the city and also the county. And last Saturday, Baylor Park and Lake Minnewaska, they kicked off the cross-country skiing and snowshoe season. I think the rain is probably doing some damage, but for $5 for 2 hours, you can rent skis and also poles and or snowshoes, so definitely get outside and explore. Also, check out the new mobile sauna at Baylor Park, starting on January 10th through March 1st. It's a private 30-minute session. It's $20 per session for up to 6 people. And go to the Carver County Parks website to reserve your spot today. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Ruderman.
Well, Mr. Chair, I think last time we met, I said sometimes we're remiss at expressing gratitude. And I know that there's some people from the CDA here, but I saw on social the other day, and it was affirmed other ways. Greg Anderson, after a long run, I don't know if are you here to say a few words about that? Okay, got it. All right, so I'll push pause on that, but wanted to offer gratitude for those that have served on our committees and our commissions, liaisons or otherwise. And so I'll pause so you guys can have that next time. Also, it is slick in the parking lot, but the sidewalks leading up to here are not slick. So thank you to Angela, Gary, Joe, and our facilities team. Well salted, good entry, especially having the 40 or so people in the boardroom today. I had an opportunity, to Commissioner Fahey's point, to be out at Baylor over the holidays. I hadn't been out there, I hadn't even admittedly done the trails yet, and so it's a great place to be out there with kids or otherwise. And then in light of the number of people that have been in our boardroom the last couple of weeks for open comment, there's complexities of these issues, so I welcome anybody's emails, comments, or meetings. I've been given a number of books and things to read, and I will tell you that I didn't know a whole lot about the topic, and I'm becoming educated. So if anybody wants to aid in that education, so be it. And then there was a note floating around about some things at the state level that do impact us, and we're in pretty tight budget times, not just this current year, but as we plan for 27, 28, and 29. I think there was an effort by an individual up north to collect some signatures. I had a chance to talk to him as well to find out what the sentiment is across the state. And so as we make decisions leading into this new year, I just want to impress upon our team, our staff, our community, that we should watch our pennies. We should be smart and strategic about some of our decisions. So thank you.
Okay, I would also like to say Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. I know I did. It seemed like a little over a 2-week break from just about everything I do, and I frittered it away. I wasn't productive. I didn't do a whole lot. I didn't pour through CDA bylaws or anything fun like that. Yes, we'll say goodbye to Greg Anderson next week. A solid workman pick, I must say. And thank you for trusting me to be your chairman again for the best county in the state of Minnesota, probably the Midwest. Well,
Keep going.
certainly Illinois. I could name states. Iowa. But anyway, good to be here. I did get through about 500 pages of biography on Mark Twain. I think it's gonna not help my sassiness a bit.
That's too bad.
I did I did read a great quote because he was making fun of precisely England and Europeans and the monarchies and everybody. The Brits didn't particularly appreciate it, but he did say irreverence is the champion of liberty and its only sure defense. So a little sarcasm, a little irreverence once in a while gets the point across. All right, agenda review and adoption. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I got a motion by Anderson and a second by Fahey to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. 2026 Board Operating Rules.
I was going to note, Mr. Chair, you had an amendment. Did that get in there? There was a couple of additional applications that came in late. Would you consider that as a friendly amendment to the agenda?
Does that change the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's additional names that would be included.
Okay, so should we go back and change the agenda to,
If you could just consider that a friendly amendment.
yes.
I will
Okay, so-
second that, Mr.
Yes.
Chair.
All right, so Anderson
I
moved
I moved to include the friendly amendments.
and
What if they were
Fahey,
unfriendly? Would we still move? Anyway. we'll
and Fahey seconded the friendly amendment.
Yes.
Hearing any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. All right, the operating rules. Mr.
Thank you.
Hempsey.
Thank you. Happy 2026 to the board members. As you do each year, I'm asking that you adopt your operating rules for 2026. Just a few changes that I have proposed in your rules that are listed in your packet. In particular on section 10C, which is the public participation section. If you flip to page 16 of your packet, you'll see those. First of all, authorizing the county board chair to reserve the right to allow Carver County residents to speak before non-residents. I had heard that as a suggestion along the way. And secondly, to add to section 5, the disruptive behavior, adding that there should not be clapping and cheering. As you saw today, that could be a little disruptive too, and I understand why it's being done, of course, but that would be added to the list of disruptive behavior in an effort to help the board chair guide a good professional meeting. The third item, thanks to Commissioner Uderman for pointing this out, I took a swing and a miss on this one. I should have added our new goals to section 3, so I apologize for that. But so I would add that to the list of changes.
What page is that on, Dick?
Page 6. Starting out. Item number 3 at the bottom of page 6. You can see our old goals are there. And of course, you adopted these new goals, so that's an easy one to insert those. I flat out just missed it. Sorry about that. So I think, and then Commissioner Uderman had some other, he and I talked on the phone yesterday, he had some other suggested changes. I think the best way to do it would be to get these changes I proposed on the table as a motion and a second, and then I think Commissioner Uderman, if you still have some thoughts on amending additional items, that could be proposed by Commissioner Uderman.
Okay, so the goals. And
Mr. Chair, if I could, board operating rules, would this be a good time to discuss whether IT staff can help individual commissioners? Or is that a different time?
This would be the time. I would suggest, similar to thoughts that Commissioner Uderman has, I'd perhaps carve that out as an amendment. So what I'm looking for is to get on the table here that the changes to public participation and then the addition of the goals. We get that in the table and then bring up these other items, which I think should have a little bit more focused debate as an amendment.
Would you summarize those 3?
So again, allowing, under public participation, allowing the chair the discretion to have county residents speak first. And then secondly, to add some language under disruptive behavior, no cheering from the audience, to provide some additional guidance to the board chair. And then the other item would be to add the updated goals to section 3.
So if we're looking for a
page 6.
motion for those 3 things, so moved.
Second.
But the clapping, cheering, et cetera, it would seem we should have pretty precise language on that.
That's on page 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really define. I suppose it's by its nature defined, right?
Oh, I see there. Okay.
Yeah, there is language in the paragraph to the right
Okay.
of page 16, but 2/3 down.
So just from experience, I think one thing that we did on the Eastern Carver County School Board is state that in advance, that there'll be no clapping and cheering after pieces. So just so that people know what those operating rules are prior to. And also, if we want to keep it to just Carver County residents only, all of those would need to be defined in advance of public comment. But, I mean, that's...
Well, Mr. Chair, clarification, the change proposed was Carver County residents first at the board chair's
Yes.
discretion. Others could speak too.
Yes.
At the board chair's discretion.
And I understand that motion. Yep.
And yes, we could put clarification language. You notice today maybe you didn't
Well, because
see
it
it, but
wasn't
there's a
part of
sign-up sheet. We
Yes.
could put that at the top of the sign-up sheet or even in the agenda packet for clarification purposes. But all this is in an effort to have a good, professional, respectful,
Correct.
well-run meeting.
Mr. Chair, if I could, Mr. Hemsey, should we add booing in there? Or is that covered because it says clapping, cheering, or such other comments or conduct that disrupts or disturbs?
I think that'd be a good change, Mr. Chair.
I think we could I think we could add a lot of adjectives.
We could really get into the weeds. That's what I'm
Or is
asking.
is it
Yeah.
verbs? Caterwauling, is that a verb? I think that could go on. So what would be a general terminology? I will say this, as all of us have been to many, many graduations, they always say, please save your applause for the end for
And then nobody
800
does it.
graduates.
Yeah,
And of
I've
course,
been there.
the clapping and the whistling and gets louder. And it's never failed to keep that from happening. I thought the group in the room today was a little more polite with their clapping.
For sure.
And
Yeah,
I didn't
very
hear
respectful. Yep.
the hooting and booing or whatever else going on from the last one, which I don't think helps anybody's cause, but I can leave that up to them. But
I mean, it's up to you. The difference between a graduation and a meeting in the public is, graduation is a celebration. And this is a business meeting. And so from my perspective, I also appreciate the polite and respectful nature of the group today. It's just hard to have, it's a slippery slope if we're offering that. But that's just one opinion I can go with, whatever the board is comfortable
so
with.
are we going to add the word booing?
Mr. Chair, I brought it up, and it's, and as such comments or conduct that disrupts, disturbs, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of any board meeting. I think it's covered, and I think that if we get into the weeds, we could be here for all day. And I think they added that save your applause to the end, because at Watertown anyway, because after I graduated, no one applauded.
Understandable.
Okay, so I think those three rule wording changes are pretty clear then, I think, to the board, correct?
Correct.
Call it the Hemsey Amendment. And do we have a motion? Is that
Yeah.
I did make a motion.
Anderson and Fahey?
Yep.
Mr. Chair, again, so you have a motion and a second. I would open it up for discussion and then amendments, additional amendments, because I know Commissioner Wooderman has some.
Okay,
Or-
so we're
or
not going to vote on
individual
these
debate.
three?
I would suggest you don't, and have Commissioner Wooderman
Yep,
propose
we hear some
others.
other-
Okay, so now we're going to go to amendments, further amendments. Okay.
I don't think they're formal amendments, but anyway.
Okay, other changes?
Well, if I may, Mr. Chair. Good.
Yep. Yeah.
We're growing as a county, and I think some of the rules need to reflect that we're growing as a county. We're not a sleepy county anymore, and some of those things push against each other. You use the word residents, and I get the sentiment of it, like, let's have our residents go first because they pay the taxes. And I don't think that our chair is going to restrict anybody that wants to speak if they're a business owner or they're somebody that's been tied to the community for 30 years and they, bought a place in Florida, so they're not a resident. And so the heart of what we're trying to accomplish might get stuck in the minutia of it. Some of the other things that I wanted to suggest for consideration, I also don't want to get stuck in the minutia of it, but the spirit and the heart of it is as I'm about to share. Item number 2, compensation for county board members. I've always held that I think we should have a standard formula. And at the end of the day, we decide what the dollar amount is. We have to do that, but I would really like to depart from the what's everybody else doing and let's do the same. We, as a board, gave 7% raise, which reflects what our staff does. And I would like us to adopt a formula that looks more like less than what our staff gets, because we are public servants and we should take this role not for our own self-benefit, but to help the community. So I'm proposing the following language for the end of that. Any annual increase for the county board should not exceed the prior year standard staff wage increase. And I think that's been a tradition that we've had. We've never, well, before I came in, there was a sizable raise given to commissioners to the tune of 13.5%. And I thought that was appalling. And I stood up against that. And I don't think that's happened since, and I don't think it will happen since. But this language gives us a chance to kind of put that in there. I think most of the board feels the same way. So I'll just read it again. Any increase should not exceed the prior year standard staff wage increase. So that's the first thing that I propose.
Commissioner Uterman, I'm not tracking it. So would you explain it in, so
I don't know how I
how
could.
would it have happened in December compared to 24?
So the last 2 years, by contract, I think we have 10, 11 collective bargaining units. The raise that we gave was 7% last year and 7% this year, which is a tidy sum. I think people are celebrating that. This language would give us the ability to give ourselves up to 7%, but not more. I'm just adding language to say that the county board shouldn't get a raise that exceeds that of the staff, and I think that's a prudent addition.
If I may,
Commissioner
while
Anderson.
I appreciate that sentiment, I think that's a conversation we should have had a month ago when we talked about this. And would have loved to have this conversation at that time. I'm not sure that belongs in operating rules. So I think it belongs when we had a very quiet conversation about compensation last month. And so I would encourage you, Commissioner Workman, or Commissioner Uterman, to bring it up at that time.
So, Mr. Chair, if I may, we get the
Sure.
chance to look at operating rules once a year. And I know you were fresh, Commissioner Anderson, a year ago, but that same conversation was had a year ago. And a year before that, and a year before that, and a year before that. I've been on the board for 5 years now, and we've had it every single year. I believe that we need to put this in writing, and this is the appropriate time to do so.
Thank you.
So maybe I missed part of what you said, so I'm not sure that I ever remember, maybe Commissioner Lynch can help me out here, when we took a pay raise above the rest of our employees' contracts. In fact, we took a pay cut in a bad year. That would have been probably following the 2008 mess. So I think the formula is probably handled the way Commissioner Anderson is stating it. In December, after we're done, and when we're done, and the contracts are all done, and we do look at what are other counties doing, which is why a county board some years ago, maybe 10, took a really big pay raise vote. Commissioner Lynch and I did not vote for it.
Correct, it was not unanimous.
And so it gets, it sort of gets out of control. All of us are not going to ever be on this board, and the board can change its rules and future boards can do whatever they want. And embarrass themselves or do whatever. But I feel the formula is those two items. One, how are we treating our employees? And how are the rest of the metro counties doing things? It's information, but we can have that debate every December when we have to. So I guess what I'm saying, Commissioner Uterman, is we already have the policy that we can give ourselves raises that match the rest of our employees or less. Does that make sense? But did we ever? Oh, that 1 year we did more than what our employees got.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm in favor of your language. I just don't know if it belongs here. So I mean, I'm in favor of the sentiment. I just think it needs to happen. And I would encourage you to make a motion when we talk about it in December.
If I could, Mr. Chair, I think tracking the matrix of what we do with the other commissioners is a really good thing. We do it with county attorneys, we do it with county administrators, we do it with everyone else too. So we should track it with ourselves too. And again, like you mentioned it, there was a raise and it was approved in a 3-2 vote with you and I voting against it. Vote your conscience. I have always said the most uncomfortable thing we do is set our pay.
Yeah, so much.
And tying this matrix, and I just don't see how it works.
And Mr. Chair, just my comments going back to, I made similar comments in our December meeting when we were talking about setting our salaries, and Commissioner Lynch made reference to that matrix, and on average, Carver County commissioners are paid less in the metro area. And we talked about, and it was recommended about from the county staff to get that average up. And we're going to continue to be, and I made the comment from Garrison Keeler that either everyone should be average or inspired to be above average. And we'll just continue to be below average for our compensation in the 7 metro area as we approve that 7% increase. And then there's the other county boards are giving themselves the same increase. We don't know what the amount is, but yet we continue to be under the average. So I would not be in favor of the language that is presented by Commissioner Uterman.
But I do want to be clear that I would look forward to having a robust conversation about compensation when that comes up in December.
Okay, Commissioner Uterman, I believe that would be a motion you've made, and then I would ask for a second.
Technically, we're still in a motion for the other, so I don't know how
Well,
that
a motion
works.
for the amendment, right?
Okay, got it.
Mr. Chair, this would be an amendment to the
Got it.
original motion,
Which needs to be a motion.
which needs a motion and a second.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, any second? I don't think we're going to get a second for that.
Mr. Chair, the second item that I had proposed for conversation with our administrator, and I've shared in the past, is, and I'll just put it in the context of, again, this year's a tight budget year, next year, the year after, and there's a lot of uncertainty. I think I've used this in the boardroom before, but the pace of the leader is the pace of the team, and I'm sure we've all heard the adage, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And so we, as part of our compensation, we always get a expense account. I think that was determined well before I joined the board, that instead of having to individually itemize stuff, we get a flat amount. And there's some things that are included in that, and there's some things that are not included in that. In years past, we added that home broadband would no longer be covered. And that does two things for us. One, that makes us commissioners not be any better or worse than staff. Two, it limits our exposure from having to pay for that for other folks. And so that was adopted, I think it was last year or the year before. I'm asking that we expand that so that our monthly expense allowance also be exclusively includes a home printer and print cartridge expenses. And it's been my estimate that over the course of the last 2 years that there's been close to $10,000 of printer cartridge and a home printer expense. And I just don't think that that's necessary. And I think as our role as leaders, I think that because we already get an expense account, if you want to come to the government center to print stuff off, we have printers. If you want to look at your board packet on your tablet that's provided by the county, you can do so. But I think this is one of those areas that we can give indication to the staff and to our general population that we wouldn't be enriched more so than our staff is. And I think this is an area for, albeit minimal cost savings, it's a token gesture. And so my language proposed on a 3G monthly expense allowance would read home broadband, home printer, and print cartridge expenses are not allowable expenses.
Thank you, Commissioner Uterman. I'm confused because I have 2 personal printers at home and desperately wanted to not have a third printer in my home office, and was told that from a security standpoint, I needed to have a separate printer. And I still haven't used a cartridge. And I buy paper by the bulk for my business. So I'm confused. I'm confused by this. I thought I had to have a printer in order to print the documents for my board meetings.
Well, Mr. Chair, I know it all goes through the board chair, but
I'm sorry, Tom.
I've been on the board for 5 years, and I haven't expensed a single print cartridge. I haven't expensed a single ream of paper, and if I want to print anything, I come to the government center when I'm here or when I'm not, and I use the services that are here. If I had a home printer and I wanted to print something at home, albeit minimal, I believe that that could easily be covered into the generous allowance that we get on a monthly basis. So if there's any more clarity needed, I'm simply saying that if you want a printer at home, if you want a cartridge at home, feel free to do so using the expense that you're already allowed.
Well, if I can just add in here, you indicated that it would be about doing the same for our employees. And I could query Administrator Hemsey and any staff that's in the room and find out if they and the staff that works from home, if they have a county printer and cartridges, and if we don't outfit our employees who work from home with essential items. I do not consider this room back here my office.
Me
My
either.
office is at my house.
Same.
I try to get in the way down here as little as possible, and there are a lot of people that are not here anyway because they're at home in their home office, and hopefully they're more efficient there, but my office is definitely at home. I know Commissioner Lynch shows me the postmark from his packet that's sent to him. He's not 2 miles from this place. He's 200 miles from this place, and what was the number? $30?
So I brought it today, $11.
$11. So I've got frustration with it because our county systems tie up my iPad and phone so much, I can't figure out how, most of the time, to print my agenda, and I have to tell Krista to put one on my desk. I read it online, which is fine, but I like to write on an agenda. So, again, this room, single room, I know that many other counties have individual offices in the building for their county commissioners, and then they get a staff member. And I can't imagine we're going anywhere near that in the next decades. Yeah, I'm not coming down here every day to print this or that or this or that. So I guess I'm speaking against the amendment. So.
Mr. Chair, you asked a good question, and it'd be a good one to have answered. We have 738 employees. I think when I came in, we had 750 employees. I don't know any of them are expensing it. Maybe there's a handful, but I can't imagine a world where 738 people are not only expensing print cartridges and paper and getting support at home for their computers. I can't imagine that that's the case. And I know that our 600 building is likely going to be replaced, and more people will be working from home. I can't imagine that we want to go down a path of, $1,000 an employee. That's a sizable amount of expense if we're going to allow them to do so. When I host meetings, if they're proper meetings, I host them here. I don't host them at my home. And I hope others don't as well. I think on the door over there, it says Commissioner's Office. It is our office. It's where people can come meet with us. I don't know too many people would be safe having a meeting at any one of our commissioners' houses. And so again, I restate, we are moving into a digital era where we all have tablets and computers. And if you don't like that, grab a handful of pieces of paper, some pens. If you need to print something off, by all means, come to be here. But I think it's ridiculous the amount of money that we're spending on here, especially while we're looking at all these shifts and cuts and passing along an 8% increase in taxes last year and probably even more this year to our consumers. So if people are not wanting to look for pennies and dimes and thousands of dollars on these simple things, I can only imagine if there's harder conversations where we might need to find savings. And when I was elected, I promised constituents that I would manage to a lower tax rate. We are taxing our residents more than their house values are growing and the growth of the county. Your tax rate will go up this year. And if we don't have hard conversations and hard decisions like these simple ones, I can only imagine what next year is going to look like. So I will continue to press in on issues like this to find ways that we can find savings for the taxpayers that don't enrich ourselves. The last item that I had on here was one that was already covered, Administrator Hemsey, which was public participation. I did have a conversation with the administrator of Sherburne County for a number of reasons when we were at AMC. That conversation led to them being a growing community. They have increased number of people that come into their boardroom. One of the best practices that they use in their boardroom is each speaker is allowed 3 minutes for a total of 30 minutes of public comment. I thought it was an interesting one to bring before the board, not to restrict anybody, but I also recognize that on some days we have upwards of 15 or 20 staff in the boardroom. And if they have to wait 22 hours or 3 hours for public comment, there's just a practical reality that our staff time is valuable as well. And so they allow anybody that has any other comments that aren't received within that first 30 minutes to do so before the end of the meeting. So I just raise it for consideration. I'll just read off what the language was that was given to me. Each regular meeting will allow for public comment. The public will sign in with their name and address prior to the start of the meeting. Priority of speaker will be given to county taxpayers first. Each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes, up to 30 total minutes of public comment. The board chair may allow any remaining comments to be made prior to the conclusion of the regular meeting. I just thought it was an interesting one to bring to the table to see if there's efficiencies when or balancing our staff and then people, the public sharing their comments.
Mr. Chair, if I could, we work for the people who are addressing us, and I like how we're going to do it. Priority has the residents, and I'd leave it totally up to the chair's discretion if you want to have 5 people speak or 10 people speak. From if we have say a crick, you mentioned Mark Twain. I always use one of his quotes: "Whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting over." At every ditch meeting. So anyway, at that point, if you think it's going to be too much, I would have the chair, or you, or anyone else limit it to 5 people, and then that they can draw their 5, and that's only at your discretion. But right now, I just leave it up to the people, and we can sit here for a little extra time because I don't want to limit the opinions of the people.
Well, this is a tough one. I know many organizations limit the comments to 3 minutes. Some people don't even leave the runway before 3 minutes with what they want to say. So it's a tough one. We went back to Commissioner Lynch. We went through this. We've had some pretty angry people at the podium who get awfully personal. And we've had some of that at the end of last year. Threats. Lady made a slight threat, winked at us. But we resisted. We were gonna, the board, rest of the board was going to put the public comments on before the Pledge of Allegiance, before we even started videoing, turn the video on.
Yeah.
And so we resisted that, but it was very personal. Commissioner Lynch, you remember that, and so I'm a little up in the air. I thought it went well today. But 3 minutes, it really is probably the standard.
Yeah.
As to limiting it to only 5 people or so, I don't know if that's.
And again, I wouldn't put that in. That would be at the chair's discretion. But I understand you can say a lot in 3 minutes if you don't believe. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Mr. Chair, if I could clarify, if you turn to page 16 of your packet, the language related to this discussion is included under item C, and so you currently do have the 5-minute issue in there. It does give the board chair some discretion to provide additional time or even to limit further. That would be the first, the paragraph in the left column in the middle. That outlines the 5 minutes. It also states it again on the top of the second column. And then item number 3 under C states if there are a number of individuals present to speak on the same topic, all persons must sign in and designate a spokesperson or 2. The intent of that is to not have repetitious comments, which is tough to control because that's just what happened. And to some degree, although you could argue everybody has a little bit of a different angle. But I think at the heart of this would be if the board wanted to limit from 5 to 3, you certainly have the discretion to do that. So I would, again, ask that a specific amendment be proposed so it's clear in what you want to do.
Chair Workman, I just want to, first of all, thank you, Commissioner Uterman. I think it was a year ago when we put in the 5-minute rule and we put in the clock. And I think at that time we were thinking, will we really need this? And I think it is helpful. I think it's helpful both for us and for the people speaking to realize you have that amount of time. When I was on the school board, we did 45 minutes, 3 minutes. And not everyone got through that. I agree with Commissioner Lynch that people want to come here and speak to us and share that. I mean, this is freedom of speech is our First Amendment. So while I appreciate and understand the direction because it does make our meetings last longer, but I think listening to the community and just kind of I'd like to keep it for where it is at this moment, especially at this moment when we do have more public comments. I think changing operating rules, I'm just not sure this is a good time to do that.
Well put.
At this time.
And Mr. Chair, if you would, we limit the residents to 5 minutes. Maybe we should limit our community announcements to 5 minutes also. So it's good for us, it's good for the community.
Goose and the gander. We might have a comment from the public right now, if she could say it in under 5 minutes. Welcome.
It'll be quick. Hi, I'm Barbara Brooks. I live in Marconi, Minnesota. I'm very concerned about point number 3 here, where you designate a spokesperson or 2. The impact of issues, for example, the ICE issue, is not going to be felt with 2 speakers, as vocal and articulate as they might be. I hope that you will really consider eliminating point 3 or make it a much more reasonable number. 2 is not sufficient. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Metz.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, the board operating rules state specifically that any time throughout the year, the county board may amend or suspend the operating rules by an affirmative vote of the members. Changes shall be effective immediately upon passage. So at the next board meeting, you could change your operating rules, or if things change and you're going 2 hours with public speaking and it's ineffective and inefficient for the government, you could change this at any time too.
That's a good point. I mean, I do like the idea of limiting it to an hour, but you're right, because, but it just doesn't feel like now is the right time to do that. So thank you for bringing that up, that we can do that at another time.
Yeah, I mean, that could be open for abuse. I mean, we could, if our room was fully packed, and we decide on the spot to limit everybody, I don't know if that's a good crowd pleaser. Which is why if it was put in now, but.
Right.
So the issue is 3 or 5 minutes, correct? And am I going to assume, and Commissioner Uterman, you also had the total of 30 minutes. So that would limit it to 10 people? Is that what you're saying?
I just was bringing forward that we're a growing county. You want everybody to speak. How do you balance that with getting your business done? There's a lot of resource in this room that may be just here for a consent item, right? I'm looking in the back at some very highly compensated director level people. And if they're here for 2 hours waiting for public comment for something that isn't relevant to them, I think we have to balance those things. And so I went out looking for a place that does it. And I think Sherburne does it well. And I think that as we grow as a county, we have to have some of these conversations. So can most things get said in 30 minutes? I was watching the clock. I think it was 31 minutes and everybody was heard in the room today. And so, put it against what works and what doesn't work. Maybe a good place to start is cap it at an hour And if anybody goes past an hour, they're more than welcome to stick around till the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
They will be heard. It just won't be the first 2 hours. So,
Okay, need a motion.
and I also think, I'm sorry, one more thing is, when I was listening to comments today, most of the meat was delivered in 3 minutes. And
Agreed.
so, I think that I think it works for everybody. It's respectful to all.
All right, do you have a motion?
Well, if you want me to give you the actual language that would reflect up to 3 minutes per person and a maximum of an hour, and anybody that exceeds that hour, we could, at the board chair's discretion, they can say their piece at the end.
Okay, 3 minutes, total of an hour. Is there a second?
Could we limit that to committee announcements for the motion maker?
Well, 3 minutes times 5 is 15 minutes. See that?
Maybe we call it the Uterman rule, because I'm probably the only one that's exceeded 2 minutes, and I don't know that I've ever gone more than 5. So if we want to make it the Uterman rule, go for it. I'll limit my comments. I think that when you're an elected official and you've got the goings-on of more than a single topic, limiting somebody to 3 minutes is not apples to apples compare. But I'm happy to keep my comments to the same amount, if that makes people happy.
Okay, I do not hear a second.
I would, I'll let you finish.
Do I hear a second? Okay, no second. All right,
I guess I like the idea of limiting it to an hour. I'd like to stay at 5 minutes at this time.
okay, Commissioner Uterman,
Sure.
anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else?
Clarification, Mr. Chair, was that a proposed amendment or you?
So I would propose we stick to 5 minutes, since that's something new that we're just doing this year. And I think that the public has been very respectful about the 5 minutes. And typically, today was 33 minutes. You had 31 minutes, I had 33, I might be wrong. And in the past was just over an hour. So I think an hour gives people ample amount of time.
Mr. Chair, if I could, for clarification, it's been 5 minutes for quite some time. The only thing we did is put the timer in.
Oh, really? Huh. Good to know.
And I think if we do go ahead with the 1 hour limit, if we set those ground rules in the beginning and, have that on your packet, and when you make that comment for public comment, I think the expectations then are set for the group on how much time they have, and knowing that we have an hour here to get our message across. Because I think somewhere down the road, we're going to have some people come into the meeting that are probably in support of our ICE contract. So we're going to have to manage all those. If the first 50 people that sign up, for example, are opposed, well, then how are we going to let the ones that are in favor, no matter what the issue is? So we got to be careful.
Do we
as
want to
go
just
down.
table this until another time?
Well,
I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
well, no, it would, in a pro-con situation, to be 30 minutes pro, 30 minutes con. So 10 speakers each, or
6.
36. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I would submit there are a number of logistical challenges in doing that. Remember, you have public comments up front that may encompass a variety of topics, not just one. So it's
Yep.
60 total. But you also have public comments during an agenda item. So is that another 60 minutes? I think it'd be very difficult to separate pros and cons, since there may be some mixtures in there, right? So I think I would suggest, if you really want to do that, I would go out and try and create some language and talk to others about how they've done that. Because maybe you didn't catch it, but Commissioner Uterman mentioned at Sherburne, they say, okay, we're going to limit it to 30 minutes, I think it was, or 60, whatever it is. But at the end of the meeting, we'll take more, right? And I think, to me, it's always dangerous to sort of limit and suppress that conversation. But again, that's up to the board. I'm more concerned about the logistics of exactly how that would work if we're proposing this on the fly. I'd suggest we do that later.
Okay,
You really
so
want to limit it.
Commissioner Workman, for the sake of being all over the place, because I didn't know this was happening, I rescind my motion to limit it to an hour. I go back to.
So we should think a little harder
Yes.
about the logistics of this. So let's keep working
Yes.
on this, way we can be open to the public, but not have a filibuster occur.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Uterman, anything else? Nope. Does anybody else have an addition to this?
I do, if I could, Mr. Chair. Printing at home, I think, is the wave of the future. I have a 64-page pamphlet that was our packet that was mailed by Krista. She puts them together, she mails them. This is a priority mailed. And it costs, I showed this before, $11 to mail to me. I received it yesterday. It was ripped. I already reviewed it, obviously, on my laptop. But whether the county pays for the printing here or if I get a cartridge and pay for it at home means I think it's a wash. And we save $11 in postage. So what I propose is that we have support at home. Now I'm going to bring my laptop in, I'm going to bring my printer in, and we're going to hook it all up, and then it's going to be easy. And then Colin's going to laugh at me when I get it home and I can't get it to work. So he's going to come and hook for 5 minutes and then get it to work. And I agree wholeheartedly with your comments that your office is at home. It's definitely not here. It's 25.
And by the way, I've never invited a constituent to meet me in my home. I do use my monthly expense account to buy them coffee or lunch or other
Same
at a public place.
business.
So if I could have two things, that's mine. I'd like to have the support at home, and whether someone actually gets we're printing, using the ink anyway. Whether we use it there, actually we're using it double, because after here, there's ones here that are printed up. And again, I received this yesterday, and it's in priority mail, it's tracked and insured, and it came, and the top, as you can see, is ripped. So I'd like to do that, and I'd also like to limit, you mentioned what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Let's limit our community announcements to 5 minutes. If we limit our residents to that.
Mr. Chair, if I could,
Commissioner Fahey.
I would comment on the same aspect of Commissioner Lynch with the use of the home printer and the cartridge. Unfortunately, maybe it has to do with some of the gray hair that appears on my head, but I'm still a paper guy, and I like to print stuff out, and it allows me, allows me to write notes on the border, and I'll guess I'll never change. And people laugh at me. I'm still a daytimer guy, and I live and die by my daytimer and keep track of all the various meetings. And I do use my iPad as much as I can. But to Commissioner Lynch's point about getting the packet mailed to us, if you remember some of the challenges, we weren't getting the packets until Tuesday
Or
after we
later.
came home after the meeting. And so I no longer get packets mailed to me. I just print mine out at home. And just really think that's a good use of my time when we talk about coming down here. My commute is 17 miles one way. And this morning it took longer than 17 minutes to get here. And if I'm going to drive all the way down here to print out an article that I feel I want to write some notes in the sidelines to it, I don't think that's a good use of my time either. And then ultimately you got to drive back home. So the printer and that expense, I would like to see the numbers that Commissioner Uterman talked about, that there's this $10,000 expense in cartridges for commissioners. And I just think it's probably a lot less than that and a minimal expense for the time that I personally am saving versus driving down here to print out a document.
And somebody made the decision to not give me a color printer. So this kind of thing is an impossibility on my printer.
Right.
Who made, I'm still looking for the person.
Yep.
But Krista does a great job of printing that out for me, and that's why I have color here. We don't say enough about Krista. We'll have Krista Day sometime this year. But, so what are the, okay, so let's go back to the motion. Is it a motion by Lynch that those of us who office at home may have IT staff assist us with tech issues?
I think that would be, it used to be like that, then I think we changed that not too long ago. And I think it makes a lot of sense. It saves you ink and it saves you this $11 of postage. And it just makes you more efficient. Like Commissioner Fahey said, you can print it right there. And I think it was Attorney Metz who insisted you didn't get a color printer.
Oh, it's him, yeah, okay. Vikings beat the Packers?
Mr. Chair, if I could point you to the language that relates to this discussion.
Yes.
On page 8, bottom of the first column, it says any offsite home technical support requires separate board approval, that last sentence. I would suggest to match Commissioner Lynch's desire here, I would just say offsite for home technical support is allowed, to clarify that, if that's acceptable to the motion, the amendment motion maker.
I would accept that. I would point out too that this is the county cell. I do county cell work on this. This is my personal cell. I use personal information on that. I keep everything separate, and I will guarantee that I only print county-related things at home.
Did you have a second half to that? Did you mean to limit?
Yes, I also like to limit our community announcements to 5 minutes. If we ask the public to limit themselves to 5 minutes, I think it's okay for us to limit ourselves to 5 minutes.
Okay, that's a motion.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion, and a second, a motion by Lynch, a second by Fahey. Any further discussion?
Is that on a per topic basis? Because I think when people come up and speak, they speak on, for instance, today was ICE for 5 minutes. If we're talking about community announcements, we're giving multiple. We're covering a span of not only the meetings that we go to, but maybe some of the accomplishments we've had, maybe some of the points of view that have been shared, maybe some of the announcements that that people need to know about things coming up. It's quite an expanse that we cover, at least I cover with my announcements. Are you suggesting that that's per topic, Tim, or is that?
No, not per topic, total.
Totality?
I think that it's somehow evolved into, we used to talk about different events going on, what we did, and you can say that a lot in 5 minutes, but somehow it became into a stump speech. And I think we need to limit that.
Okay, further discussion? Hearing no other, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay.
Can you clarify, was that 3-2?
Yep.
Yep.
I think, Mr. Chair, you need to go back to the main motion now, which was the 3 items that I had originally proposed.
Okay, so it's the main motion with everything else that we amended into it?
Yeah, well, plus that last amendment that was approved, 3-2, yes.
Is that the only thing we put in otherwise?
I think so.
Okay, so I think Anderson moved that and Fahey seconded the original motion that has been amended. Further discussion? Hearing none.
What's included in this one?
Just the Hemsey.
So, well, it's the 3 that I had suggested, plus the amendment for Commissioner announcements
And printer.
and home technical support.
Okay, hearing no other discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
3-2.
Yep, thank you.
All right, we're off the board operating rules. Adopt schedule of regular board meetings for the year 2026.
Mr. Chair, if I could, we have them right in front of us, I have a blue one that we all have one here. And as Mr. Metz said, stated before, we can have emergency meetings, we can move meetings, we can not have a meeting if there's some issue. So it's a fluid issue, so I'd make the motion that we just adopt what's here, and then obviously we can change anything if we need to in the future.
Okay? Is that a motion?
Yes, absolutely, it's a
Schedule?
motion, sir. Yes.
2026 schedule?
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I got a motion by Lynch and a second by Fahey on the calendar for 2026. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Metz?
Thank you. So the initial motion that was made for the board operating rules, I believe Commissioner Fahey made the motion. I believe Commissioner Anderson
I
seconded.
reversed it.
It's the other way.
Reversed,
I'm-
okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
either way.
But I believe what I heard is Commissioner Anderson voted nay to that.
Oh, yeah.
So that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, because
thought
I
she
made the
was a-
motion, and then voted against it
Well,
because of the
that's
operating.
certainly what happens at the state capitol all the time. People make motions.
Well, there was a lot of discussion and change in
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that, so I understand, but, so that should be clarified if she wants to withdraw her motion, and then start over on that, have a new motion, a second, and discussion.
So you can't motion and vote against it? I thought you could.
No, you probably couldn't. I mean, and I didn't know what the, what, I
It
ended up
changed.
voting against that because of the change.
Well, and like I said, that's what happens at the state capitol. People bring up something, it gets modified.
So how do we want it?
and
I guess for me, the reason I voted against, and while I do agree that community announcements do tend to get a little long, I do struggle with limiting that. So that was and I should have said that and voiced that, but, so I do struggle with limiting that, up here at the board. Most of us are well under that 5 minutes.
So Attorney Metz, was there a Roberts rules?
Well, I haven't
Violated?
studied the Roberts rules. I just want to be careful in terms of the procedure, and that I haven't looked at that, whether you can make a motion and then vote against it, because it was still 3-2.
Right,
But-
it's still passed.
It's still passed. So if you want to take a quick break, or we can readdress that, I can do a quick research to see. This has never happened
Or
before.
somebody else can make the motion in the second.
Or that could be another option to withdraw her initial motion.
I will withdraw my initial.
Well,
We already voted on it.
I think somebody only in the affirmative can bring something back up. So
So,
whoever voted no, go take a break. Well, no.
I do need to use the restroom, so that might be helpful.
Then
Everyone needs to know that.
why don't we take a 5-minute break?
Yeah.
Colin back there, and it's somewhere between Robert's rules and I am getting. So we're going to break for 5 minutes. And we had a little technical difficulty on a motion and a second and a vote, so we're going to have Attorney Metz kind of explain.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. Thanks for taking a break because this hasn't come up before. We want to make sure we're obviously accurate with the voting. And the answer is under Robert's Rules of Order, yes, the maker of a motion can vote against their own motion. They're not allowed to speak against it during debate. So under these circumstances, there was a robust discussion about amendments that I'm assuming the original maker possibly didn't agree with. And so that's maybe why they voted against it. And so the vote was 3-2. That is allowed under Robert's Rules of Order, so you don't have to make any changes at this point. But thank you for allowing us to at least take a break to make sure we're right about that.
We appreciate you being here, Mr. Metz. Okay. So with that, we're moving on to item 1.10, committee appointments and assignments. So we have a list of commissioner committee appointments and assignments that we all partake in throughout the year with various organizations and fair boards and ditch boards. And so we try to quickly go through them one by one quickly. So let's start with the Association of Minnesota Counties Board of Directors.
Do
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I've been attending those meetings and also the various conferences due diligently. And Commissioner Anderson has chatted with me and has voiced an opinion that she would like to participate more on the AMC Board of Directors. And then also, just for that clarification, I know we represent District X or District 10, but there also are additional District 10 meetings that are held during the year that are different from the County Board of Directors. And I know, Christy, you and I chatted, you had it broken down on one of your other spreadsheets, but in the packet, it's all included as one. So I would make a recommendation, Mr. Chair, to make Commissioner Anderson the 2026 appointee to Association of Minnesota County Board of Directors, and also the appointee to the District 10 committee, and I would offer to be the alternate.
Thank you.
Okay. Maybe back to Mr. Metz. Are we gonna kind of write these down in agreement and then have to make a motion or not?
That's up to you. If you want to take a motion on each one, or just do them all at once. I'm trying to think back in the past.
I think, Mr. Chair, you've done them as a slate.
Yes.
But if there is some disagreement, that becomes a little bit problematic. But that's up to the board.
Mr. Chair, if there's a problem with that, someone could voice their decision now, and then we'll do it as a slate later. But I'm personally okay with Commissioner Anderson and Fahey being the alternate. If you're okay with being the alternate and not being the alternate.
And just to help, Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to include that Lynch stays on the policy, Uderman on the government policy, Anderson on health and human services, Fahey on public safety, and then Workman on transportation policy, and then all of us continue as voting delegates.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Okay, so Association of Minnesota Counties, various positions, policy committees.
Yep.
Okay, got a motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion by Fahey and a second by Lynch. So now Anderson will need a printer.
Yeah.
For sure.
Hearing no more discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. CAP Agency Board of Directors.
I can stand that.
Weirman alternate, okay. Carver County Arts Committee. Who's dying to get on the Arts Committee? We haven't met in a while, but I'll stay on there. Uderman? Yep. Okay. Carver County CDA.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Anderson has attended some of the CDA meetings as the liaison.
As
In-
the alternate liaison, yep.
Yeah, as an alternate, in my absence, as I ran across various conflicts for the CDA meeting. And so I would recommend that Commissioner Anderson become the liaison, and I will remain the alternate.
Mr. Chair, I agree that maybe a change is needed. Maybe, I think you've served for, what, 20 years, 15, 20 years, Commissioner Fahey?
Not on the CDA,
Either as a member or as a liaison, no?
not for 20 years, no.
You've been there a long time, right? Either as a non-elected representative or elected representative. I think it's general tradition that the alternate moves up. I'd like to stay on as alternate or even take the CDA spot. I think that there's a lot going on and there's a lot more to be done, and I think Allison's done a nice job.
I'm more than willing to. I was able to attend 5 of the meetings and kind of gotten involved. So I'd like to be the liaison. And I do think, while I appreciate Commissioner Uderman's willingness, I do think that it would be nice for me at least to have Commissioner Lynch be the alternate so that we have a little bit of consistency as a new liaison
For the CDA,
for the CDA. Yep.
Commissioner Lynch.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Fahey. Thank you.
We look different.
I get you two confused all the
He's
time.
a little smaller than I am.
So if this,
Commissioner Fahey,
if
thank
the
you.
second alternate's been given the opportunity to attend 5 meetings in Commissioner Fahey's absence, perhaps it's time that Commissioner Anderson becomes our liaison, and perhaps Commissioner Fahey moves to the alternate.
That was the motion,
Yep,
Commissioner
that's the
Uderman.
And I'd be happy to move to second alternate.
This is one of those odd committees where there's 2 alternates? Is that a law?
It is not.
Because I was hoping to be the 3rd
It's a
alternate.
very popular committee.
So to Commissioner Anderson's point, does the motion include
Kathy.
Commissioner Anderson as the liaison and Fahey as the alternate, period? With no need for a second alternate?
I don't know if we needed one this year.
So here's where Mr. Metz were running into trouble. So we did the CAP agency and Carver County Arts, and so we didn't have motions for those yet, but now we're running into a possible motion situation.
Well, Mr. Chairman, and you can break them out now and take them individually and go back if you want, or you could break this one out and vote on this and then take all the other ones that are not controversial. There's a lot of options.
Let's do that.
I propose that, Mr. Chair. We'll just, if there's an issue on any one, we can just vote on that one individually, but the other ones where there's no issue, we can just have a general one at the very end.
Okay. So is there a motion on the CDA?
So I move to have Anderson as the alternate and Fahey.
Anderson as the liaison.
Anderson. Oh my God, you make the motion. I can't speak.
All right, I'll make a motion, Mr. Chair, that Commissioner Anderson serves as the liaison to the
Thank you.
Carver County CDA with one alternate as Fahey as the alternate.
Okay,
Second.
we got a motion and a second on that. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Community leaders,
Eastern. Actually,
Eastern community leaders.
Isn't Family Resource Center on here?
I did see that in an email as a side note. I don't know if
mine,
it's
there's a
made
box.
this.
There's a box.
Pardon me?
On my sheet, there's a,
It's not in the packet,
but it's on your guys'
independent one. Sorry.
Yeah, we should add that also, Mr. Chair.
Can we do community leaders first?
yes, we can.
Yep.
I think there's been an indication that they didn't need all of us there, which is why I've sort of fallen off. It sounds like maybe one of us is enough.
I think that Commissioner Uterman has a passion to be serving on this. If they do want to have, will allow 2 commissioners, I'd be happy to accompany him on that.
I'm happy to take it. I think this is one that everybody should be welcome to come to, because how the origins of this were that this was not dissimilar to what Scale does, Scott County does Scale, where they have city officials, county officials, and school district officials. This is the one area where we all come together. And so I'm happy to be the lead on it and represent, but I think everybody should be welcome to come to that meeting.
I don't disagree. I enjoyed hearing from the other mayors. There isn't a lot of opportunity. I don't, but I mean, I do meet fairly regularly with Chanhassen and Victoria, but I think it's sort of their wish. So if we can keep it to Uterman, and certainly it's a public meeting, any of us can walk in, maybe depending on the topic.
And again, if they would allow 2 commissioners, they're happy to go. I do have a conflict on these. These are usually Friday mornings, but I do kind of have a standing conflict Friday mornings, but I can work around that when needed. So we can kind of go back to that organization and see where they're at.
Okay. So Commissioner Uterman, that is your baby. Courts Committee, I'd stay on that.
I would too, Mr. Chair.
I'm the alternate, I'm fine.
County Strategic National Stockpile, Workman, Hemsey, Richard Scott. I think that usually goes to the chair. Fair Board,
I'd like to continue.
I will continue as the alternate.
Hennepin Carver Workforce Development Board, Uterman, liaison, alternate Anderson.
I'm happy to flip that. I've had increased conflicts on that one, and I don't know that but essentially, I'd like to go to alternate on that one.
Well, and unfortunately, I have multiple conflicts on that one as well. So I was kind of really hoping that you would stay as the lead for that, as that board has been difficult for me to attend as well.
Cool, push pause on that one, maybe revisit it.
We can.
Okay.
Historical Society,
It's another one I have a hard time making on a Thursday, just because of personal commitments. So I'd be happy to move to alternate on the Historic Society.
Mr. Fahey, what say you?
I had been the appointee on that before, and I know you have been also. I mean, are you interested?
Sure.
All right.
So does that make you the alternate and me the,
No, you would be the liaison and Matt is the alternate.
what? Say that again?
You would be the liaison and Matt would be the alternate.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's what you had stated, correct?
Yep, right? Commissioner Fahey, but
Works for me.
whoop. I think they're having a little holiday party here next week, the Historical Society. So you're no longer welcome. Health Insurance, LMC, Uterman and Workman.
I'll stay there.
We've been a heck of a team.
Got a lot done. Got a lot done.
Joint ditches, does anybody have ditch envy for another ditch? Seeing none, let's move on from there.
I think that Commissioner Fahey's pretty dedicated to
Yes, Commissioner Fahey loves his ditches.
the water issues within Carver County.
Good heavens, I'm only on one now? Two. Law Library, Anderson.
I'll stay on that.
Legislative Committee,
I'll stay.
Actually, wanted to propose a change to the legislative committee. I was thinking maybe both our chair and our vice chair could be our legislative committee this year, understanding that all of us need to step up and be part of this for this year, but that was my proposal, is having that move to our chair and vice chair.
I would second that motion, Commissioner Anderson, if I could remain as the alternate.
That's reasonable.
so it's a motion, Workman, Lynch, alternate Fahey. Any discussion?
Well, Mr. Chair, I think we've done amazing work in the last 2 years. I just point out, I don't believe that housing or mental health has made it to our Legislative Priorities Committee in the last decade, and it is now. I think that there was at one point that we staved off a potential 20% increase on county tax increase and reduced that significantly through not only your leadership, Tom, having spent 10 years at the legislation, but also some creative marketing and other things behind the scenes. I think the county would be more well-served continuing with what works and not just attending meetings to put it on somebody's resume. So I don't support the change that's being proposed.
Okay. Further discussion?
If I'm honored to be on that committee, I have a good relationship with all our legislators, and I would be honored to be on there.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none. Workman, Lynch, alternate Fahey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
Library Board, Anderson, alternate Uterman.
I'll stay on the library board. We've not going on the library.
Matt, Commissioner Uterman, stay the alternate.
That's fine.
Okay. Lower Minnesota River Watershed.
Commissioner Uterman, I didn't realize you were on this because I attend most of these meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just didn't realize we were both on that.
I think you both border it, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I attend all the meetings and have made appointments.
Fahey probably borders it too, right?
So do we have to, because all
I
the
think so.
people who are on that? Got it. Okay. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, Fahey should be on that too then, because it's part of Carver.
I'm happy to move to an alternate.
I think it was just that we needed 2 liaisons,
Oh, is that the deal? Okay.
if I remember correctly, and I had been on that in the past. I'm okay just keeping
Okay.
it with the 2 liaisons.
No, and that's fine.
You guys are trying to work yourself out of that job.
I'd like to work myself on that.
And a point of clarification, you're not on the board.
No,
So
it's a
there's-
liaison.
Yeah.
It's a liaison. Lord knows I know I'm not.
I think I'll move to alternate on that one, Tom. Lower Minnesota.
Is it, it's not a requirement that we have 2 liaisons?
I don't know. I'd have to check.
So Anderson would be the liaison and Uterman would be the alternate.
We could come back to you if, for some reason, they required that.
They did?
If they do, I don't know. I'd have to double check.
Well, should we
Yeah,
go
I
with the
don't know.
alternate for Uterman now and then
Yeah. that's
change it later? So that's how it'll sit, okay? MCIT voting delegates, this group of people made us the best county in the state of
Yes,
Minnesota.
they did.
You're welcome.
In our insurance. Thank you, Hemsey, but Sonia, thank you. Sonia.
Sonia.
Melsa.
I think that's something I'd like to take. I think when we talked a year ago when I took on libraries, I wasn't quite ready to take on this commitment, but I've attended meetings in person and online, and I think it makes sense with me staying on libraries for me to be on the MILSA.
I think it's working fine the way it is, and I'll just say, if we're talking about results, it's different than if we're just talking about being on a board. But in the time we've been on MELSA, record number of dollars have come back to the county. We've achieved record youth subscriptions. We've changed legislation in one session in less than 3 months, allowing more people and more applicants. I, believe it or not, represent diversity on that board. The entirety of that board is made up of female members. And so I think for those reasons that either it's a discussion or I'd like to remain on MELSA for now.
And I agree with you. I think it is good to have diversity on that board. I have talked to Julie Jepson, who is taking over, and Lori Halverson, and there will be diversity on that board going forward, as there will be 2 gentlemen from other counties that will be representing that. And I think it makes sense. Again, usually library board goes hand in hand with MELSA. So
That has historically been the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we don't have agreement there. We ought to have a motion and a second.
well, I move to be appointed as the primary liaison or board member for the MELSA board.
So are we, does the motion mean Anderson is the board member and Uterman is the alternate? And does Uterman want to do that?
No.
I will make a motion then, Mr. Chair, to make Anderson the liaison, and I'll be the alternate to MELSA.
Okay,
I'd second.
okay, got a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Those opposed, motion passes. Mental Health Advisory Committee.
I'll stay on that.
Anderson, alternate Uterman.
It's fine.
Metro MESB Board. Fahey.
Commissioner or Chair Workman, that I have been the chair of that board this year. And I think in an earlier conversation, you had mentioned you might have an interest.
Were we in a public house? When do those meetings occur?
The second Wednesday at 10 o'clock of every 2 months.
Every other month?
And then the executive committee meets every month. So basically you have one meeting a month.
I'm also, oh,
A voting member, yes.
you know, anybody else interested? Okay, I can do that. Are you going to remain the alternate then?
I will be chair.
Okay. MESRTOC, Metro Emergency Services Radio. We're going to stay right there. Likewise with the 911 Technical Operations, Metropolitan Solid Waste Planning Group hasn't met in a long time. I'll stay there. Micah, Fahey and Workman.
I will stay on that.
I'll stay on
Mr.
it.
Chair.
Minnehaha Creek Watershed District. I don't know that it makes a difference. If Uterman wants to be the big shot, I can be the alternate or
I think
either
it's
or.
good how it is.
Okay. Extension Committee, Uterman and Lynch.
I would like to stay, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Uterman,
Probably move me to alternate. I don't know that we need 2 people being the liaison on that one.
Actually, on the extension, we have both have to be, they're both voting members. Unless someone else would like to take it. That's one of the few that we're not liaisons, we're actually voting members.
I can move to alternate. I think it is probably better served elsewhere for now.
so we have an opening on extension. When do they meet?
Usually Thursdays. I think we have one meeting this Thursday.
When the,
It's usually like 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
ooh. Shall we keep that one open?
Yep.
Minnesota Valley Regional Rail Authority.
I will continue to serve on that,
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
and I will be the alternate.
I enjoy the drives to Redwood Falls periodically, but
Are we doing good there? Still doing good
thank
work?
God for Zoom, yeah, we are doing very good.
SmartLink Board,
I will remain on that, sir.
Mosquito Control District Executive Board.
Commissioner Anderson has been going to a couple of these,
I have.
and she loves mosquitoes more than anybody else.
I do, because they love me. There's one mosquito in the world that would find me,
You want to be the executive? Is that what you want to be?
if that's okay with Commissioner Fahey.
It is.
Okay,
Okay.
and then what about the regular board meetings?
Then we'll,
Stay?
yeah, we'll stay.
Park Commission,
I'll continue on with the Park Commission, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Uterman.
Love to stay on as alternate.
Right. Planning Commission,
I will stay, Mr. Chair, unless Commissioner Lynch wants to swap spots with me.
I think it works out pretty well.
was that a sigh?
I think I've had like 3 meetings out of the 12 that I filled in. We can continue on as we're doing.
Okay.
Thanks for helping, Tim.
You know, you guys could have a sign conversation about splitting the two.
You could. You
Or
could do
not,
6 and
right?
6. Yeah. Why not?
Regional Hauler Licensing Board, again, this is something that rarely meets, but I'll stay there.
And I can stay as the alternate, sir.
Riley Purgatory Bluff Creek Watershed, Workman will stay there.
And I didn't realize I was on this, so that's awesome. I've done a great job on that.
I definitely.
I've had my hands full with Lower Man.
Right. Well, it's nearby. Southwest Corridor Transportation Coalition. I'm actually a board member of that,
I would
executive board.
like to become the alternate if Commissioner Uterman wants to move up a role, because it's going to be a lot of discussion on Highway 5.
I think it's probably appropriate for now. I'm happy to do that.
Okay. State CHS Advisory Committee.
I will remain on that, Mr. Chair, unless someone else would like to meet. Richard Scott is the liaison who attends all of the meetings, and then Richard and I meet every other month for an hour and go over the agenda items and topics, et cetera.
TAB, I'll stay on that. This is a big year.
Yep.
Big year coming up.
That's the Transportation Advisory Board, and I'd like to thank you for being on that. Your expertise from being on as a legislator helps immensely.
Thank you. Fahey, alternate.
That's fine.
WMO, do we need some east side of the county blood on that? Simple no would do.
No.
Fahey, I will continue on unless Mr. Fahey would like to take over okay.
Alternate role is
I think we're
fine.
okay.
I think the earlier planning commission discussion.
Cemented it?
All right, we did it.
No, actually,
The
we do
Family
have
Resource
the
Center.
Family Resource Center. That's a new one. Carver County Family Resource Center.
Information on that's in your other packet, when they're going to be meeting the new board.
Their first meeting will be at the end of February, early March, then scheduled quarterly. I'd like to serve on that.
Is that a voting member or a liaison?
I don't know. Is that a voting member or a liaison?
No, it is a liaison position.
It's a liaison position. Love those liaison positions.
And so then the liaison with an alternate? I would be the alternate.
Okay, sounds good.
High hopes for that.
Me too.
Okay. So we've completed that, and I think then we just need an overall motion to approve the whole basket of those appointments. So do I have
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
a motion by Lynch and a second by Fahey for our commissioner committee appointments and assignments? Any,
Sure. Just a point of clarification. So you'd only be voting on the ones that you haven't voted on already,
Yes.
the remaining
Correct.
slate.
Correct.
because we already voted on the other ones?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. I apologize, I didn't use this sheet. That tells you when we meet, and I didn't have to ask. All right, appointments to advisory committees.
Oh, right.
This is our community appointments. Okay. All right, the Arts Committee, we have no applicants. Board of Adjustment,
Mr. Chair, I believe we have 4 openings, and Carrie Puella did leave me a message saying she would like to withdraw her application. So I would nominate Steve Washboard, Jerry Bruner, Jeff Thompson, and Scott Selkin.
I would second that motion.
okay. Commissioner Lynch has moved and Commissioner Fahey has seconded these 4 appointments to the Board of Adjustment. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. CDA, this is not an upgraded.
Yeah, there was an earlier comment to Mr. Chair about Greg Anderson, and we're going to have him in the board arena next week. And yeah, he's been the chair of the CDA. He's been very, very, very good and a lot of great leadership, but he has termed out.
Okay, well, thank you. I hope to do well again. And so I would move Gretchen
Upright.
Upright V. Garcia to Commissioner District 2.
I would second.
Okay, got a motion and a second on this appointment. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Library Board.
Mr. Chair, we have a couple applicants in District 3. I'm going to hold that one for a couple weeks to see things shake out a little bit. I think there's a vacant position on the other one if anybody wanted to.
I also have not done my due diligence on this.
Let's just hold off on that one, then I have to make contact too.
So we're going to hold
Library.
on the Library Board. Mental Health Advisory Committee. Mandated vacancy, Kayla Pasco has applied.
And Kayla has been the chair of this. She runs a heck of a meeting. And she's also been really good about having really tangible recommendations to the board. And so I would recommend Kayla Pasco stay on the Mental Health Advisory.
I would second that.
Okay, I have a motion and second for that appointment. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Minnesota Extension Committee. 4 vacancies and 4 applicants. Although isn't one of them a non-resident?
That's correct, Mr. Chair. And Nick, Dr. V sent you a brief note on that. There's no requirement that the individual is a resident. It's a policy choice on their behalf. I never did hear back from Nick. I think perhaps there was a youth appointment that was a non-resident, but they went to school at Crown College. Is that your appointment?
Okay.
But up to you. It seems a little strange to have a non-resident appointment. appointed to that committee.
I do not disagree.
Yeah, same.
Tammy did reach out from Extension, and they have Alicia on there until 2026. That was yesterday.
Okay.
Youth appointment is fine.
Okay.
Should we approve the first three?
Move all residents be approved.
Robin, Ryan, and Patty.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion, a second for 3 appointments to Minnesota Extension Committee. Further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Park Commission.
I'd like to make the motion for Wayne Trapp. Is there any other, everyone there's done, I don't know if I can make all emotions, but there's 3 emotions. I'll make the motion for Wayne Trapp. I don't know if,
Well, it would be nice to have Jen Brewington from District 2 in there for my,
okay, I would like to make the motion for Jen. She does a wonderful job.
And I would recommend Reed Welch.
So that would be my motion for those 3.
I'll second that motion.
okay, got a motion and second for the Park Commission. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Personnel Board of Appeals. We have no applicants.
How often do they meet?
As needed. Planning Commission. I'm losing Mr. Mendez. He is out after 3, right?
Termed out.
Yeah,
Yep.
he'll be in next week, hopefully,
He's
too.
done a phenomenal job on the planning commission.
I'm looking for a spot for him if I'm in conversation with him about something else.
So do you have a recommendation for your district, Mr. Chair?
I would select Joe Pollock for 2.
And I know Andy Steinhagen has been very active on the planning commission, or I'd recommend him. And then the township representative that will be appointed this month or next month. I know Scott Hazy has voiced that he would like to be reappointed, but that's a township decision.
Right, so you just do the 2 at this time.
Okay, who made the motion there?
You did.
Did I make the motion? I move Joe Pollock and Andrew Steinhagen for the Planning Commission appointments. Is there a second?
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Water Management Organization.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Beckham, his term expires 2/28/26, so it hasn't expired yet. Is it okay to nominate him, Mr. Metz? If his term is not up, or do we have to wait?
Who?
Jim Botchetter.
Betcher?
Oh, I must be on the wrong, I was looking at
Yeah.
Lower Minnesota Watershed.
Waterman.
Oh, sorry.
Kayla Pasco is the only applicant. I mean, could we plop her into Carver Creek? And we went through this before. Does she need to live in the Carver Creek watershed? She lives in District 5.
I think Carver is part of it in the watershed.
I think they are.
She lives up by Quick Trip.
Well, so is that a motion?
That is a motion, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
I would second for Caleb.
Okay, a motion for Kayla Pasco for the WMO appointment. Hearing no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Motion passes. Lower Minnesota Watershed District.
Okay, so we just appointed someone here because Lauren Silvano was on this, but she had to step off because she had a conflict of interest. And we had a gentleman step into that role, Kyle.
Ockham.
Yes, and we've had a good conversation with him, and Paul and I and their administrator had another good conversation. He's only been in one meeting, but I'd like to have him continue on as our representative for Carver County on that lower mid watershed.
Is that a motion?
Yes, that is a motion. I move Kyle Bockham to remain.
Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second for the WMO appointment?
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Is that it?
Are we on the minutes? All right, I need a motion to approve the December 16th, 2025 minutes.
I would move approval, Mr. Chair.
Lynch has moved and Uterman has seconded approval of the December 16th, 2025 minutes. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Consent agenda. Finally, we got there.
Only 2.5 hours.
There's some pretty big money on there again. Authorization to execute U.S. Department of Transportation grant agreement for the Highway 5 project. That's big stuff.
Yep.
$100 million plus on there. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Anderson has moved and Lynch has seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Commissioner Lynch.
Make the motion to recess as the county board and convene as the Carver County Regional Rail Authority.
Commissioner Lynch has moved to recess as the county board and convene as Carver County Regional Rail Authority, and Commissioner Fahey has seconded that motion. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. Chair, as usual, as we have done in the past, I would make the motion that you are the chair, I'm the vice chair, and the one sitting in the middle, Mr. Commissioner Fahey, is the secretary treasurer, unless someone else has a different way of doing it. It's a very important board.
It is.
I second that.
Okay. Commissioner Lynch has moved and Commissioner Anderson has seconded appointment of Chair Workman, Vice Chair Lynch, and Secretary Treasurer Fahey for the Regional Rail, Carver County Regional Rail Authority. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Commissioner Lynch.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make the motion to adjourn as the Carver County Regional Rail Authority and reconvene as the county board.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Lynch and a second by Fahey to adjourn as the Carver County Regional Rail Authority and reconvene as the county board. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. County Administrator report.
Yes, sir. So your calendar's set. Krista will send out updates. I have to remove the tentatives. I don't think you changed anything, so you should really have your schedule laid out for the next year. We do have this joint session with Scott County on the 27th at noon. I'll work with our board chair and their board chair and Leslie Vermillion, my colleague, to iron that out. But we were generally talking about a 1-hour lunch, get to know each other, and maybe a couple hours with the topics. Those being, we're talking about Lower Minnesota watershed, Commissioner
My
Anderson's
favorite
and transit. I'm not exactly sure which angle on transit. I have Nick and some others working on that. I think it's a joint, what can we do together on that? And then the big one would be Heather's area, Heather's problems as I've identified them. Working on some legislative issues, maybe strengthening our lobbying together.
Yeah.
And I think that would pretty much consume that 2 hours. So that's in the mixture right now. That's it. That's what I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Got a motion by Anderson.
Second.
And a second by Lynch to adjourn our inaugural 2026 meeting. Any discussion on that?
Good
Hearing-
job, Mr. Chair.
Oh, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes.